up, guys? Welcome to week number 2 of just push-pull training here. Things are still going pretty well, recovering nicely, and a little bit of a reduction in volume on the deadlifting has definitely made a big difference for me. So what you're seeing here is the day 1 of the program. I ended up hitting 5 singles at 345 pounds. Which is not an all-time PR by any means. 5 pounds under my best bench that I've been able to stay put together enough to hit in a meet. And these all moved really fast and really smooth. So this was a pretty encouraging day. I've not moved 345 with this much consistency and speed and just technical soundness before. So just a really great day. Everything moved fast. My bar path was pretty much on point for all of the working reps, and the speed was just really encouraging considering I haven't touched anything this heavy in quite a while. Actually, it's been since I tore my pec before the meet that I've been up into the 350-ish range. So followed up my 5 main singles with 3 sets of 3 at 315. Doing these all touch and go. I am kind of the anomaly when it comes to bench, where my pause bench is easier for me to do than a touch and go rep is. So what I'm doing is I'm pausing usually the last rep of the sets, or at least all of the singles that I'm doing, but I'm trying to work with different degrees of locking out the reps on my touch and go reps, just because that tends to keep me under load and under tension longer. I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, if you don't fully lock the rep out, you're not fully maximizing the triceps. And while that does make sense, it's been my experience, at least for myself, that where things fall apart is in that bottom part of the rep. And so I try to train the bottom portion of the rep as much as possible. So you'll notice, like on these higher rep sets of 7 here, I'm not quite locking out, but what I am consistently doing is hitting the same exact touch point and just maintaining a very consistent and smooth bar path and touch point, and just groove with the rep. And so I found that for me, if I can keep all of those things organized at the bottom as I get towards the chest and slightly off, then the amount of speed that I'm able to generate with a full leg drive from doing a pause pretty much makes up for that sticking point, or the place where you would expect the triceps to fail. So that may not be the case in the future, or as I get up closer towards that 400-pound mark, but at least for right now, that's something that's been proven successful for me. So you'll notice I do pauses on my singles or on the last rep, pretty much touch and go everything else. So that's that little rant. Hit some rows after that. That was 405 for, I believe, 8 reps or so. This secondary bench day is more of just kind of like an active recovery or so. So this is 4 sets of 7 at looks like 245 there. Alright, so I pretty much only included one of those sets on there because that's not super exciting to watch me bench 245 a bunch of times. However, I did try something new in this session. You may notice that I am deadlifting in Olympic shoes. This is per Tony's suggestion. He says, I don't know why it works, but it works. Says it helps make it easier to get the hips involved in the lift. So I'm going to kind of experiment with this and see what I think. I do have a couple naturally, for me, this is not a good enough explanation to do something that doesn't seem to make any sense to me, because it seems like on paper you're just increasing the range of motion. But I do actually have a couple of different theories on why this may be the case. First of all, whenever a muscle is at a higher degree of stretch, its maximum strength potential goes down. So example of this would be if your arm is fully extended, your bicep can't contract as hard as if it were closer to, say, a 90-degree angle. This has a lot to do with the attachments and how the muscle contracts, but basically it's not at as optimal of a leverage position to be able to put out as much force. When you elevate the heel, you're reducing the amount of stretch on the hamstrings when you're in your starting position. So one of the mechanisms that could be causing this to be the case could be the fact that the hamstrings aren't being as stretched out, so they're able to fire harder as you initiate the lift. The other theory that I have is that by allowing yourself, or by minimizing some of the flexibility requirements on the hamstring, you're able to push the knees further forward over the bar, which is then going to allow you to shorten the moment arm from the hips to the bar by keeping the hips closer to the bar. So that would give you a leverage advantage as well. So these are kind of the two main mechanisms. With where the bar is over my foot, it doesn't really add anything to the range of motion. It actually, if anything, keeps it right about the same, because I find myself keeping the bar a little bit closer over the toes. Very similar to the position that Richard Hawthorne was trying to get me to set up in. So I'm going to keep playing around with that. Those are kind of some of my thoughts on why I'm going to include the bully shoes in for my main deadlifts. You'll probably still see me doing the RDLs and my hamstring work in a flat, though, for the very reason that the Olympic shoe makes a little bit of sense for your main pulls. So stay tuned for that. What you're seeing here is a pretty decent volume PR for me on the day 3 workout. This is 315 for 5 sets of 5. I have never done that much working volume with that weight before, so that was pretty exciting. I was a little bit nervous going into the workout, but as you can see, all of the sets moved consistently and smoothly and were pain-free, and it was just really nice to be able to hit some form of a PR, since it feels like it's been so long since I've had one. So hit these pretty well. Ended up in the RDLs all around 315. My hamstrings were a bit tight and they were affecting my ability to do a nice lifting hip hinge. So this is the cleanest of the sets, but I'll be doing a little bit of hamstring mobility work throughout the week and before the session, so that way I'm not just hinging on my lower back. So hit 3 sets of 8 at 315, and then followed with some trap bar deadlifts, also in sets of 8. Did a set of 8 at 315, a set of 8 at 405, and a set of 6 at 495. As you can see, I'm doing these from just about a 3-inch deficit. My goal with these is to get a second day of pulling in a fashion that is similar to my normal deadlift, but it also allows me to work on my leg drive since I'm not squatting. So this should give some extra stimulus on the quads, as well as give me an additional time to practice really focusing on getting that drive from the legs instead of from the back, since I can't cheat and use my back on this the same as I can with a normal deadlift. So we'll see how those end up carrying over. I know not a lot of people are fans of the trap bar, and historically to myself either, but whatever. This is an opportunity to mix things up a little bit. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And as always, be sure to check out the gym's website at www.savagegym.com.